how you heal your wife's resentment, especially when it's gotten so bad that now she wants to leave. She's talking about ending the marriage. And in this video, I'm going to show you my 3-step process to helping heal your wife's resentment, no matter how bad it's gotten, no matter how much is there. Now, this is an iterative process. You're going to have to take reps. You're going to have to practice it. This is not a magic pill. It is just one piece of a very complex issue, which is saving your marriage. But if you do this and put this as a tool in your toolkit, it will make a very big difference. So let's talk about this. Now, the way this typically works and why, let's first actually talk about why is she even holding on to this resentment? And it's because for women, more so than men, so it would seem, and so the data tends to show, right, is that they have a stronger emotional memory, right? That's probably from survival times, evolution and whatnot, but stronger emotional memory. So that anger, those events from the past are really frozen inside of her, right? She keeps reliving it over and over. She's tired of it. That's where that wall comes from. And your job is to get her to fully heal that emotion back then, express it, share it. And through that process of sharing from that deep level, from that initial pain, the resentment goes with it. Because really resentment, underneath resentment is just deep hurt. If you can get her to share that hurt, you can get her to release the resentment. Now, how do we do this? Well, it's a 3-step process. And generally how the conversation goes, she says something to you. We'll say hypothetically, it's about helping out around the house. So she says, you start helping out around the house because you had your light bulb moment and you're like, oh no, I need to save my marriage. So I'm going to start by helping out around the house. I've been doing that for a long time, as we like to do with men, right? So you do that and she comes back with you like, why are you even doing this now? I've asked you to do this so long. Why did you wait? It doesn't even matter anymore. You better not be doing this for me, or all the lines they love to say in these situations. And first, you need to do step 1, which is validate. Meet her where she's at. Acknowledge that you see some level of truth in her beliefs about the situation. Even if you always helped out around the house and she's just nitpicking because a couple times you did. Validate her concern. Validate her statement. That looks like, yeah, I know. And I realize that that's just not okay. That wasn't acceptable. And I'm sorry you had to deal with that. And I just want you to know that I'm deeply sorry that it took this long for me to start doing this. Okay, now you're validating. Now you've acknowledged there's nothing to fight against at that point, right? You guys are meeting at there. She may not be happy. You may not be enjoying it. You may not even calm down, but you're at least validating. There's nothing to oppose anymore. Now, the second thing, step 2, is you need to dig deeper. You need to get her to share at an even deeper level. Most guys, pretty much no guys, do this, right? And what you want to do here is get her to share what that past experience was like, what this looked like is. And I know that for you, it must have been really challenging having to go 5, 10, 15 years, whatever your situation is, without having that support that you needed. And would it be okay if you share some of that with me? Like, what was that like for you? I really feel like if I could truly understand it, it would help me change so that I can not bring that behavior forward anymore. All right. So we're just asking her to share more. And then she shares. And she's like, no, it felt like I was living with a child. No, I asked to marry a man and I wanted to marry a man. Instead, I got a child and I felt alone, isolated this whole time. And now, side note, you're hearing this and you're like, oh, hey, like it hurts. It's hard to hear. And this is why we don't do it. But what you're doing is getting her to relive a deeper layer and share that deeper layer. In that sharing, healing is occurring. So focus on that, not on you. Don't make it personal. Focus on trying to get her to share more. And when I work with my couple client, what I see is when she has to start living it through and letting go, you see her whole demeanor change because she's been holding on to resentment for so long. Just starting to share it, you can already see it's like she's letting go, and you can feel her opening up a little bit more with this. So it's worth it. Now you repeat the process. Now that's step three. You repeat. So you validate, and then you ask for deeper. So you're like, oh wow, yeah, I could see how it must have felt like you were with a child this whole time, and there were a lot of childish tendencies that I had throughout our marriage. And I want you to know I'm really sorry that you had to deal with that. How how did that affect you? Like, what was it like staying all those years living with a child? Go deeper. And then she shared. And then you just repeat this process as much as you can tolerate or she will allow. Because at a certain point, she may not want to feel that deep, right? This is a iterative process. You're going to chip away over time. And if you have 2, 3 deep conversations a week, you'd be amazed what can happen, right? You can also do this through text message, right? It doesn't have to be a verbal conversation. It may be easier in text because you can frame your conversation a little bit more. And if you never communicate in any way similar to this, you may have to ground her. You say, hey, I've been doing a lot of self reflection lately, and I'm trying to understand more of what it must have been like for you to be with me so I can make the changes that I need. So you may hear me ask questions I wouldn't normally ask. And I just want you to know it's purely for to help me grow, not because I feel like there's anything wrong with you or whatnot. So if you can just bear with me if you hear those. You can always ground your changes in that, but just give it a try because it's not going to turn out worse than what you're currently doing. It can only help when you make this attempt because what this will also do as a byproduct is allow her to feel seen, heard, and safe. So this is another way to build emotional safety in your marriage. So I highly recommend it. And like I said, this is just one small piece of a very complex puzzle of saving your marriage. If you want the rest of the pieces, I have a bunch of free links and tools below that you can go use, help yourself. It's the same tools I use with my clients to help them save their marriage. And just get to work. Just start. This is the beginning of change, just the beginning of you saving your marriage. All right. I'll catch you on the next video.